He came with this charger. It was a V8, awesome looking car. We got in and we were like, bang on, that's it. Let's go for charger. My name is Alvin. I'm an HR professional. I mostly brought up in Saudi. Been there since when I was like really small. I think 2 years old. NRI, pure NRI. Moved to Dubai in 2014. Well, I've been a car fanatic throughout my whole life since I was a small kid. So my dad always used to tell me that I used to play with toys all the time. And that's a fact. Of course, all boys are inclined to cars one way or the other. Even my son, he's 5 years old. He's a hardcore, you can say, car junkie now. And then, since I have a Dodge, so he's actually now a hardcore muscle car fan, you can say. Me and my wife both love Dodges. So whenever you see a Charger's light, and then you're like looking at it, like, what the heck? That's so awesome. There was actually this one incident where me and my wife were on Bahrain Bridge, and we were actually going at around 120. And then there's this Dodge Charger which comes right next to us. Okay, and it's one of the newer models, 2014, I believe. And this thing it's already at 120, right? I knew it's a V8 because as soon as it saw us, next thing you know, it just boom, and you should have seen the pickup, man. Like my wife was like, "How fast is that going?" We're already going at 120. That guy must have been already at 200 now. Wow. And then I was like, "Okay, fine." These were all, and I had an Accord at that time. My first car was my dad's car, which he actually gave down. It was a 1995 Camry. I pushed it to 180. It was manual. So this is actually a time when it was Ramadan, after work, heading back home. Roads were empty because it's like around the time where you break the fast. So everyone's at home. But I'm actually late working, so I actually was going back home. And the roads were empty. I'm like, okay, fine. And in Saudi, you don't have cameras like over here. They have like on and off sequential cameras on cars. And especially during Ramadan, those guys also go to break their fast. So I was like, open road, let's push it. So I actually hit it to 180. The car stayed stable, It was an old car, 1995. It was good, man. It was fun. Then I got my own car around 2012. It was a Honda Accord. Awesome car, man. I really love that. I pushed that to 200. And that was actually on a trip to Dubai. So my family was also there with me. They were sleeping. So I actually got a chance to just hit it up. I was actually at the border towards Saudi. And my dad slowly woke up and said, "What speed are you going on?" I'm like, 200. I said, "Okay, keep it stable." I was like, cool, man. So that was like really good. And when I got here, me and my wife, we were hunting for cars. So when I came to Dubai, it was in 2014. I was actually looking for, so I did my research on cars. Believe it or not, since I was having an Accord over there, I was looking for a Mazda 6. At that time, Mazda 6 is launched, the new one. I was like, oh wow, good features, awesome. So let's go for it. And my wife was also fine. She's like, you like the model, So when I got here, everything changed. I didn't even go for one Mazda showroom. As soon as I got here, I actually started going for the Jeep Grand Showroom. And that was actually my final list. Okay, and as soon as I started hunting for cars, I went through all the other showrooms, Toyota, Nissan, whatever it is. We just went through the normal, every Mallu is known for buying a Toyota. And I was like, no, not me. I even in Saudi, I proved it that when Mallus go and buy Camrys and all that, like my dad did, I went and bought a Honda. Normally, Saudis have Hondas, and I actually had a Honda. Exactly. So same way when I got here, I was like, okay, fine, let's go for something else. And then one of my friends told me that, so I was telling him about the budget and everything which I had. So my friend just hinted to me like, why don't you go for a Charger? I'm like, okay, Charger, really? He said, yeah, sure, man. You can just go to the showroom and check it out. They have installment plans. They have all kinds of finances. I said, okay, fine, no worries. Then a friend of mine in Saudi, he actually got a Charger, and he drove all the way here. So when he came here, we all caught up. So me and my wife, we said we'll go out one day, hang out with him. He came with this Charger. It was a V8, awesome looking car. We got in and we were like, bang on, that's it. Let's go for Charger. Because it was just around the time when the new model was coming out, 2015, the new shape. But I still love the old shape, the muscle look. So said, let's go for it. They said there's a clearance stock outside. But only problem is there are a few colors. I've always been a gray person. When my Accord was a gray color. So when I went out, I saw this is the gray which I wanted. And exactly that car was there. It was like waiting for me. So let's go for that one. So I said, okay, just give me a week when we get your papers ready. He said a week, but within 2 days he got the car ready. I got a call from them, done, and I came in, picked up. Oh man, the feeling was amazing. It was so amazing. Me and my wife drove it back from the showroom. We were like, so since then, I fell in love with the Charger, and I've been stuck to it ever since. I don't let anyone else touch my car. The only other person who's driven my car other than me is my wife, and that too only once. Right after she got her license, it was cool. She drove it. After that, she never took it. She got scared. I've been a gamer throughout. Since I was a small kid, obviously every other NRI kids will always be gamers. So when I went to college, I'm actually a bit of a music freak as well. I make my own music. I do loops and stuff like that. And I've been a big fan of Enigma. I don't know how many people have heard of Enigma. Enigma is actually one of those, you can say, it's not one of those main scale bands. It's one of those dark, but it's very ambient. And I used to listen to Enigma. There was this thing around in college that Enigma are, the dark side. And people used to consider me also because I listened to Enigma as a part. Yeah, Illuminati and dark side. So I was like, okay, well, okay, fine, let me go ahead with it. And when I used to game back in school and all, I used to use the name Viper because I like the Dodge Viper since then. Okay, and then eventually when I grew up to, Viper, no, it sounds like what? Windshield wiper, and then I changed my name to Ghost on my gaming sites. And eventually, when I went to college, also these guys started calling me Ghost. So they stopped calling me Alvin. In all of the functions, everywhere outside, when I hang out with friends, everyone calls me, "Hey, Ghost is here, Ghost, hey, Ghost." I'm like, "Oh, nice." Keep it as Ghost itself. So whenever I used to come in, they used to call me Ghost. Like a song and stuff like that. It's cool. So I stuck to the name of Ghost. So when I came here, when I understood that people over here were like naming their cars and stuff. So I always thought of my car as a Ghost. So I kept it at that. I called it Ghost Charger. Because there's another reason why I call it Ghost Charger also. So around the time when I was actually getting that badge done, the badge was actually something which I saw online. So there's this gaming apparel called Ghost. They had this awesome logo. So I actually took that logo and I thought I'll give it a force to get it done. But then around that time there was another Ghost, a white Stang, right? So he actually got White Ghost. So he also got it done. So he actually, as soon as I made the new badge and Foss was doing it for me, I think he also got it over there. He actually messaged me, and that's how we became friends actually. Like, hey, where did you get the badge from? Did you? So he actually thought that I may have copied from him. And I said, hey, look, I didn't copy from you. And I sent him the whole link of what I had before. And then he said, hey, cool, man, nice meeting you. And we became friends again. So we were instant buddies again. So then I thought, okay, fine, I need to differentiate. I'm not the white ghost of it. So, and mine, if you look at the badge also, it's like this is more of a black border with a white ghost on it. Mine is actually different. Mine is actually the ghost in the black. I kept it as Ghost Charger. When I was in Saudi, I used to see these. Normally, you have the Corniche. So the Corniche is basically the happening spot. And you see all these bikers and cars over there. So over there in Saudi, the car scene is not as popular over here. But then when you see these exotics and the bikes coming in, they all park together in the Corniche. People gather around. So I used to go around there. But then, like you said, when you go to take a photo, they like look at you. Hey, taking my car's photo. Hey, what the heck? Like, oh, this is a photo, man. Plus, I used to think, why should I take a photo of this? When we got to that, we had asked permissions to take photos. I'm like, okay, I'm just taking your car. I'm not going to take your wife's photo, right? I'm like, okay. It got to me. There were times when I remember my neighbor back in Saudi had a Dodge Charger, and I loved the car. It was one of the old gens, not even like the new 2014. It was the old gen, solid muscle car. Me and my sister, we used to sneak down. And it was actually during the time when I used to come to Saudi for vacation. It was during my degree. And I used to take a photo with the car sitting next to it. I just used to feel proud. He has a Dodge Charger. I remember going back to Bangalore and then one of my friends looking through my phone and seeing the Dodge Charger. He's like, hey, is that your car? So I was like, yeah, I like it. It's not my car actually. I rented it. And at that time, it's like, you feel really good. You feel proud that, you've taken a photo next to the car. And then when people act like, oh, it's my property, you cannot take it. That's why when I got my car, actually, if you look at it, kids love the car. My son loves it. He brags about it every day. Even to the point that I'm actually annoyed with it now. But then when I park my car normally in front of these restaurants, kids come and they stand next to it. And I don't stop them. I say, hey, go ahead. There was this time when my boss was actually quite intrigued with my car. So I showed him and he was like really happy about it. So whenever we used to have this meeting or whenever we have new people coming onto the team, he used to introduce me like the charger guy. And I'm like, what, boss? Let's all go into this. I used to be a little bit, cringy when he starts it. Hey, he's a charger guy. He has a charger. Have you seen his car? He starts telling everyone, even when his boss came as a new person. He's like, hey, have you seen his car? Like, he used to be my, you can say, advertisement. So he actually got his son, who was actually quite good once when he had this event. And his son wanted to go around in it. I said, why not? Let's go. So I took the kid in, he was like enjoying this core, he was like really, it was like first time ever he was in a muscle car. I just took a couple of revs around we were actually around one of those communities which we were actually having the event in. So it was like baller for him. So I do that a lot when I see people coming in and take photos and I also have my Instagram handle on my car. So I see whenever I go by, I suddenly see a message popping up from random stranger. Hey, cool car, man! I saw you. And he sends you a picture of it. Hey, nice, cool, man. Thanks, I appreciate it. And I send out a shout out for him. And everyone who likes the car, just give a shout out. Irrespective, hey, you don't need to do that. So no worries, man. Just keep it. So like, reciprocate the love from cars, man. If you hold it in, it's not gonna. You need to spread the love.